Hi there. Thanks for joining me today. If you're new here, I'm Catherine. Welcome. I make journals out of old books, and I live up here in Canada. I'm working on this book right now, and as you can see, because I haven't checked in a week, well, let's come down a bit. Hold on. There we go. Is it going to... I'm going to pause and recenter this. There, better. So I got some work done last week because I think Monday was the last day I checked in last week. I did do a video and I did throw it out, as is common for me these days. I tend to overshare and then realize it afterwards when I'm editing the video, and I wish I could do voiceovers the way other people do, because it was a good video, but it's actually harder, I think, to do a voiceover than it is to just talk while you're working. And those journal creators who do voiceovers, they record their work and then they do a voiceover talking about what they're doing and why and so forth. I've tried that a couple of times because I think it would be an easier way to do retakes if you say something or explain something and you think you could have worded it better. And for me, it's just if I've overshared something or an opinion, I tend to be way too opinionated, I think. So anyhow, I wish I could have done a voiceover because I showed, I glued these down where we did all our rolling edges to make this look really, really worn and grungy. But I was finding that already I myself was getting caught on them. And I thought, okay, these need to be made a little bit more secure, but still look really, really awesome. And they do. But something happened and I thought, oh, I can't wait to share this. When I was doing this corner, I got a little bit, I glued down these ones first, and what I did was I got my Fabri-Tac and I got my teeny tiny little silicone brush and my Pringles lid, and I dipped and just gently painted a little on and pushed it down and gently a little bit, and I thought I was done, put everything aside, and then I decided this needed to be glued down. And I thought, oh, I can do that just with the bottle. So I took that corner and I was working with the bottle under there. I thought, I'm going to be fine. I should have known better. When I went to lift away the bottle, a big blop of Fabri-Tac went right here. And I was my own best example of, if that happens to you, don't go, oh no, and try and wipe it away, because you'll smear that shiny Fabri-Tac right into your paper or your fabric or whatever it is. You'll smear it right in, and then there's no going back. And it will be a shiny mess permanently. And what I have found is it goes against what your gut wants to do, wiping that off. Leave it alone. Let it dry. And I did just that. I left it alone. I let it dry. I actually left it overnight. And then I came in the next morning and I thought, oh, maybe I should do a little 1-minute video. And then I thought, no, I want to go get the coffee going. The dog needs to go out. The dog needs breakfast. I thought, no. So my little blop of dried Fabri-Tac, it honestly, I don't know, how big would it have been? Probably would have been the size of the top of this thumbtack, but a ball shape. It was a good amount. And but I got a soft eraser. Sometimes those nice yellow nubbly ones, they're really good for this task. And I just simply use the soft eraser, and there's a little bit still there. I'm going to roll that off. There we go. And I just took it off. And you wouldn't even know that there had been a huge blob of Fabri-Tac right here. So I didn't save it and show you how to do it, but hopefully I've explained it well. You need to trust me on this. It could save the day for you on a project someday in the future. If you've dropped some Fabri-Tac by accident somewhere, let it dry, and you should be able to just roll it up. Sometimes you can just get your fingernail under it and peel it off. Or else, if you're a little concerned, you can't go wrong with a soft eraser. It'll pull it up. So I have the text block in. It's looking lovely. I love all the different pages, big ones, small ones, blank ones. Majority, I'd say 85% of them are pages that could write a journal entry on it. So it's staying true to being a journal and the book of somebody's life, because it's the book of life. So I thought, well, let's put some more writing space in it out front. I have this, this is actually scrapbook paper, and so I already cut the front and the back. And you might think again, Catherine, why didn't you just use lined ledger paper? Because it's ledger paper, scrapbook paper, ledger paper. But this is a little bit thicker, and I needed it to be a little bit thicker to cover the fabric, the liner of paper, and everything else that's underneath. Is that some of the glue that I rolled off? Maybe. Anyhow, so these are ready to go. I've labeled them front and back. Maybe we'll have time later to put glue those in place. I put in, when I put the text block in, I put in a ribbon bookmark, and then I put in just a little, I have this roly-poly cheesecloth, and it reminded me of some of the header paper, lacy things that Nick the Booksmith does. I miss her so much. I hope she's okay. We haven't had a video from Nick in ages, and boy, oh boy. Anyhow, I'm already off topic. No, that's on topic. Nick and junk journals, that's absolutely on junk journal topic. Anyhow, she's done this a few times with some of her journals. I watch her old journals over and over, because I came to appreciate, she does what I aspire to do. She puts together a stunningly beautiful cover, and then she does a relatively simple interior, so that she turns over, it really is a journal that she's turning over to the new owner, so that they can make the interior their own for writing in, for whatever it is they're going to use it for, rather than a ready-made, already stuffed junk journal, which is very nice and is quite a talent. But other than looking through it, for me, I just feel like don't you want this book so that you can write in it? Like, occasionally a fun page is fun, but you mostly need pages so that you can write, right? Of course, right. So what else was I doing here? See, I've already get down off the soapbox, Catherine. And so I watched a video last week because I'm still trying to keep up on everyone's videos, and I need to find her name. One of the channels I'm subscribed to showed how to make cracky paper stronger. You know what? I'm just going to get on with this rather than pausing and finding her name. I will find it afterwards, so check down in my comment below this and I will have the link to the video where she figured out a way to make cracky paper more durable and easier to use rather than gluing it onto stronger paper. And I was thrilled because I have a whole bunch of paper like this from a book that I had on fairy tales that was from 1857. These pages are from 1857. How cool is that? And the only way I've been able to use them, Grimm's fairy tales, is by gluing them to a stronger piece of paper or cardstock. And it would just be wonderful to be able to use them on their own, you know, to tuck into a pocket for something to look at. It would just, and so she showed what she did. And then that made me realize, because she simply uses diluted Mod Podge, and that made me remember when I used to Mod Podge pattern tissue. It becomes almost like glassine. And then I thought, oh, I could Mod Podge some napkins, because I thought that would make a really cool pocket. Now I want to see if you can see through it. Yes, you can. That's what I was hoping. I don't know if you can see through it from up where you are, way up there. Look way up. I think only Canadians would know what that's from. Now look up. Look way up. The old Canadians. I don't think the young ones would know. Anyhow, so I went through some of my tissue and found ones that I liked so that I could put a few little pockets and tuck spots in. This is tissue paper that my friend Dave over in England sent to me, and it's William Morris. I love that one. That might be my favorite pattern of his. And so I worried that Mod Podging just this tissue, it wouldn't be quite strong enough. So I backed it with a single layer of the tissue. This is a 3-layer napkin. So I peeled off one layer and put it under this tissue, and then I left one layer attached to the patterned layer. So this is 2 layers thick and this is 2 layers thick. And then I just simply painted Mod Podge, slightly diluted Mod Podge. The channel that I watched that was teaching it, she does 3 tablespoons of Mod Podge to 1 tablespoon of water. What I found, I did the lazy man's version of it, and I buy my Mod Podge at Dollar Tree, so these little bottles, I did the math, and they work out cheaper than going to, at least up here in Canada, going to my Michael's and buying a big bottle of Mod Podge. It's cheaper to buy a whole bunch of little ones like this. at Dollar Tree. And I just simply swirled a little bit of Mod Podge right onto the tissue. And then I dipped my brush in water so that it was really sopping wet. And pretty well what I did was that in itself diluted the Mod Podge, and just painted it all over. When she's doing the old papers, she Mod Podges one side, lets it dry, then flips it over and Mod Podges the other side. I didn't do that with these because I intend to use them as tuck spots. So so I only had to Mod Podge the one side, and I think what I did was I used so much Mod Podge that it just soaked right through, and it's terrific. So what I thought I'd do now is I did want to make a little bit of pocket pattern Mod Podged pattern paper. So let me get a ruler. And we can do it together. So I hope you're doing okay. I'm doing surprisingly well. Yeah. There we go. So I don't necessarily want to be able to read the words. I just want them to be doubled up so that they're strong. So this paper is, it's actually what they call palette paper. One side is glossy, slippery, almost like really heavily waxed paper. It's disposable palette paper, so you could squeeze out your watercolor or your gouache and paint, and then you can just rip it off, throw it out, and start a fresh sheet. So somehow or other it's lost its cover and its backing, but anyhow, what I'm going to do is we're going to do this together. So I'm going to put a little Mod Podge on there. Now, if you want the official way to do this, I urge you to go down and visit the lady whose idea this was. Or if you want to attempt my version, go right ahead. I just hesitate to mix it up because I didn't know how much I needed, and I didn't want to mix up a whole bunch of diluted Mod Podge only to not need that much. So there we go. Let's just put that down there. And then I'm going to put a little bit more on the top layer. And then I'm dipping my paintbrush. You can't see it because I'm doing it off to the side here, but that's full of water now to dilute the Mod Podge. Now this is tissue, so I found I tend to be a little heavy-handed, just like when I'm doing distress ink. So the tissue becomes, of course, quite fragile. I'm just going to flip that over like that. There. The tissue becomes quite fragile when it's wet. So there we go. And I'm just going to push down on those wrinkles. She found she liked the results using, now I'm washing out my brush right now over here off camera. Or else I'll forget, and then I'll come upstairs tomorrow and go, oh no, my brush. She dried hers quickly with a blow dryer, and they turned out very, very nice. I, on the other hand, again, just put mine aside and came upstairs the next day and peeled them off the paper, and I'm happy with them. There's little wrinkles. I don't know if you can see the little wrinkles, and there will be, if you can see the little wrinkles on here. Do you see the little wrinkles? I like those. I think just like the wrinkles on my face, they're character lines. So I like that. And so this is how it would be, I suppose, if you didn't use a blow dryer. If you would be happy with yours turning out like this, then go ahead and just leave it overnight and find yourself something else to do while you wait for it to dry. But if you need it right away, then blow dry it, or I guess heat gun it. Now, if you don't have any of this, I just happen to be using it up because I don't use. I found this pad at a thrift store, and I don't use palettes for my watercolor paints. I have I use the little pan paints, so I just use this stuff for projects like this. Now, you could very easily, I realize not everyone has this, you could very easily use waxed paper. You could use a plastic bag. I've done that before. I've used an old Ziploc bag. That would work fine. Now, I thought I had one more tissue that I wanted to use. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to do one of these 1857 pages. All right, let's do it now. Let's see. Do I want the one with the little girl? Some of these Grimm's fairy tales I didn't recognize. Like this one's called Brother and Sister. Snow White and Rose Red. I recognize that one. Then there's Rapunzel. Not sure what this one is. I have no idea. Let's use that one there. And we're going to use that paper again. I'll just do it off to the side. I wish I hadn't done this right smack dab in the center. Can I fit it here? I can. Okay, we'll do it right here. All right, so now this one, I think you probably won't be with me, but I think what I will do is with this one, I will flip it over tomorrow and Mod Podge the other side. Catherine, slow down. I don't want to hurt this 1857 paper. Now I've put, I think, way too much water on this. It's an experiment, right? Let's lift some of it. I might put a bit more Mod Podge. I think I put too much water. So I guess there's an advantage of measuring out your diluted Mod Podge as opposed to my version of the swag method, as my father-in-law used to say. Well, I'm just using the swag method. And I said, the swag method? What's that? And he said, it stands for scientific wild ass guess. I thought, oh yeah, okay, I use the swag method quite often for things. When I'm cooking, I use the swag method. When I'm drawing, when I'm measuring, I'm notorious for using the swag method. So if that's your kind of thing too, and you'd never heard of it, SWAG, scientific wild ass guess. Pardon my language. He was quite a character. There we go. Sorry, I'm cleaning my brush over here off if you're wondering what I'm doing. There we go. So I'm going to let that dry. This one I won't be flipping because it's going to be probably a couple of pockets. And but this one I will flip and I will Mod Podge the other side. So I'll still show you what it looks like when I'm done. Now, in the meantime, let's glue in these end papers. If you're new here, if you just happen to click on my channel today, this is about as exciting as my entries are. I don't necessarily do tutorials. I work on my desk on whatever project is on my desk at the time, and bring you along with me. And then I explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And that's as close as I get to tutorials. Now I think I need to, I'm feeling along here, and the hinge is actually about 1/8 of an inch over a bit. So I am going to take 1/8 of an inch off. There. So I'm going to have to re-distress ink that. I'm probably going to have to retrim the back one, but we'll do that when we get to it. I was watching YouTube. You know how YouTube makes suggests you might like these videos, you know, when you go to it initially. And for some reason YouTube suggested I might enjoy watching that I think it was 1975 version of Jane Eyre, starring George C. Scott and Susanna York. And I thought, oh my goodness, I don't think I've seen that since 1975. And so I enjoyed it the other night. And but it got me to wanting to read parts of Jane Eyre again. And I don't have it here. I actually have a few Bronte books here from those sisters, but I don't have Jane Eyre. And so I watched the movie and enjoyed it, and then I thought, and I've read the book before, I just don't happen to own it. So I went over to, I think it was the Gutenberg Press page, might have been that one, where you can read books online that are now copyright free. And so I was able to read portions of Jane Eyre again. Like I read the last 2 chapters. You know what? I don't want to get myself in trouble again with Fabri-Tac. I should know better. So I'm going to get this book out of the way. There. Actually, I'm going to put the glue on here for the most part. The scrapbook paper, the ledger book scrapbook paper over here, it's the kind from Joann's, so it's not as thick as the better quality scrapbook paper, and that has its advantages and disadvantages. And I'm just worried if I do most of my gluing on the paper that the lines will show through. So I'm just going to do a little thin line around the edge of this paper, and then I'm going to have to work really quickly. These big gobs, I'm going to quickly put them, smooth them out. There we go. And then we should be good. Oh yeah, that worked well. Okay. Oh, I like that. Now I may still put a fussy cut here, or a pocket. I'm not sure yet. I think on the back, I haven't done it in a while, I think I'm going to put a library card pocket on the back. And a library card in it. It makes me wish I still had my old vintage manual typewriter. It's one of the things I got rid of a few years ago because I had used it twice since I bought it and it was taking up space in my room. But if this is the only reason why I want it, then I still, no regrets there, getting rid of that. Now, let's measure this. Sometimes the front cover is still a different size from the back cover, and don't be too quick. Have I got this upright or upside down? Hold on. Don't be too quick to just use it on its own. So this side is the side I want to trim. I do want to take about 1/8 of an inch off. It is hotter than blazes out there today here where I live. Whoa, is it hot and humid. Where I live in Ontario, it is, we get very, very hot, humid summers. And they're worse now than ever, thanks to climate change. When I grew up, nobody had air conditioning, and we'd have a few hot days in the summer. But in a way, those hot days weren't so bad because nobody had air conditioning. And those were the days when everyone knew their neighbors. And on a hot summer night, you'd have your screen door open and everyone would be sitting on their porches, and that's when you'd yell to each other, "How you doing? Hot enough for you?" and everyone would commiserate together, the whole neighborhood. So, but now, because of air conditioning in neighborhoods, everyone instead is the opposite. We're all closed in, and we've got the windows all shut and the storm doors closed, and sometimes the curtains are closed, all to keep the cold inside. So now I do find that because Dan and I are older now. There once was a time, whoa, in my 50s, you ladies will know what I'm talking about. I would keep our air conditioning set at 68 Fahrenheit. That's one of the few things that I wasn't able to do a really good switch over to metric. I was that in-between era when Canada adopted the metric system, where we were, I think I was like in grade 6, and so I had been raised on imperial measurements and had to learn metric, and for the most part I do quite well. But oh dear, don't see, I'm going to leave that alone. I got it in some of that Fabri-Tac. Anyhow, temperatures are harder for me, and I tend to think in Fahrenheit. So for a while in my 50s, I had the air conditioning set at like 66 or 68. Poor Dan froze. But he still just put on a sweater and dealt with it. He called our bedroom the meat locker. But now that I'm through to the other side of it, which is lovely, so nice being able to wear sweaters again, now I find that we can comfortably just put our air conditioning at 74, and we're quite fine with our air conditioning set at 74. And that's very comfortable for us. And then at bedtime I will set it back to 72, because I find that our house is a 2-story house, and the central air, it doesn't reach the top floor quite as well as it does the main level and the basement. Oh no, I did okay. The main level and the basement. Well, my husband's man cave is down in the basement, and he does get cold down there. It's not unusual for him in the summer when I do have the air conditioning roaring, when he goes down to watch TV at night, to put the fireplace on for a few minutes. Thank goodness for gas fireplaces, you can do that. He'll just put his fireplace on for a few minutes, take the edge off, because he swears he can see his breath. He likes to tease me, and that does fine. But 72 at night, 74 during the day, and we're good to go. Look at the time. Where did that go? 37 minutes. And I actually did a few things. Now, it mostly all involved glue or Mod Podge, but that's what was on my desk today, so that's good. Then hopefully we'll get together soon, and I'll be able to include you in a few things. I want to have some fun things to put on this page. I'm thinking I'd like to channel some of my inner Kelly Bowler from Book and Paper Arts. I like when she has creatures and people staring at each other from different sides of the pages, and I have a feeling I want to use, I have one of my opera singer ladies, and I like her. She looks rather alarmed, and I'd like to be able to put her down here and maybe have something alarming up here that, you know, that she's sort of looking at going, good heavens, what is that doing here? So that's what I'm thinking. Anyway, we'll see. Thanks for joining me today. If you're still here after all that blathering on, I hope you'll take a second and say hi down below, or say good morning, or whatever time of day it is for you, and I'll say hi right back at you. And I hope wherever you are that you're safe and healthy, and that your loved ones are too, especially in these difficult times. I hope that we all can stay safe and that cooler heads will prevail soon. Take care. Bye.